Good afternoon, everyone. Really appreciate the invitation to be here this afternoon representing 7,500 students, 1,100 staff members, and multiple communities that make up the Franklin Pierce School District. Really nice to have a seat here at the table. I also want to give a shout out to Mr. Ron Banner sitting down here trying to be under the radar, but certainly another outstanding leader here in our midst. So we have a lot to celebrate. One thing I'd like to share with you is just coming out of the pandemic and really in part in support of the ways that our students are interacting with the world and each other these days. We've really recommitted ourselves to elevating student voice in our school district throughout the systems, in the classroom, at the classroom level, with the ways that we are culturally responsive and emphasizing inclusive practices, throughout our ways at the secondary schools for students to engage in leadership. We have students helping to lead our restorative justice centers at a couple of our secondary schools. We have student-led equity teams. We have cultural clubs at all of our secondary schools. And for the first time ever this fall, we swore in and inducted 3 students to represent all of our students on our school board. So at the highest level of decision-making in our school district, we've got 3 voices, Ruby, Xavier, and Paige, who are there at every meeting and giving advice to the board on every action item that comes across their plate. So it's really been an exciting change.
Thank you, Lance. Questions, celebrations, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to celebrate you folks. We are the system. We are this community. We're not complete representatives, but as I was walking in here, I was struck by how many people that I interact with that lean up to try to make a difference. Learning happens 24/7, 365 days a year. And I know we're not 100% there, but I'm just so proud to have an opportunity to work with you because we're not like the nation, right, Gail? We are not like the region. We are Pierce County. And Pierce County isn't perfect, but we are worth it. And the next step for us, and I'm so excited because I think the Graduate Tacoma movement is pointing to a next step, but let's do it like with laser-like focus and precision. Let's identify what are those specific areas, because I think that's where we're really eager and excited to. But let's also celebrate and change that conversation about what makes this place special. Systematic approaches like Beyond the Bell. Charlie, Carrie, all of our community partners. I don't know where that crazy guy is, Sean Sylvia.
Right
the hundreds of hours to change a system to offer alternative childcare for families to lower their stress. That's not a K-12 thing. That's not a community thing. It's something that we have to come together. I think I saw the Chancellor and Joyce and Alan. I've been in deep conversations all the way through this pandemic to say, how do we break down tuition barriers systemically, to share resources, to do things differently in this space. JMAC, if you've ever heard of JMAC, it's these funky politicians that come together that are systematically setting goals for economic wealth building. And I looked at our team and I said, so out of the last $151 million the last couple of years that we've spent to try to help build and honor with this community, $26.5 million went to minority women business agencies in Tacoma, in Pierce County. 67 out of the 70 million went to Pierce County businesses. And what makes us special is we just keep on trying. It's a yes and. It's a yes and. The experience that I had, and I know I'll go here, is just being a substitute teacher. Ron shaking his head because he was a substitute teacher. Lance was a substitute teacher. If you worked in K-12 at all in the last couple of years, you were a substitute teacher. And you have an appreciation for how hard it is to build a meaningful relationship with so many kids. and you also got a chance to see the beauty of those kids. So I'm going to pause there, and I just want to say thank you, each and every one of you at this room, for being you, because you're damn special.
So what policies need shifting to magnify collective action? Some of what Josh talked about. Like, are there things that are barriers in the way? Are there policies that need to be tweaked? Or do we just need to get to it?
Well, I think there are several, but one thing that came to mind, and really we saw full well, and Tafana even shared some examples of just the ways that technology was such a critical part of our survival during the pandemic, and we've now moved toward it is an everyday part of the ways that we do school. And right now in our current structure, we're dependent on our local communities to pass levies to be able to pay for what I believe to be a basic right of all of our students. And it's highly unfair for our community to have less access to technology in comparison with other communities around the state and even country. And so that's certainly a systems change that needs to take place immediately.
As I was thinking about this, I think I would lean in and ask if we're going to take on something. What we've been working on is this whole child approach, right, Turner, for a decade plus in the Pierce County. And what we've taught our kids really well is to identify their emotions and how they're feeling. And what we learned from the pandemic is society did not have a response when they needed us most. And I think we have to focus our attention on mental health and supports for mental health outside the school day by trained professionals and prioritize our children first. I think we need to support higher ed at a whole new rate. And we need to break down the barriers of what tuition costs and remove those barriers, and not ask higher ed to be creative about that, but actually as a society and make higher ed free and accessible to everyone. And my final ask, and there's 3 wishes and they're easy, right? Mental health, higher ed. Let's make preschool universal. Let's be done with it, and free for every child. I have some other asks around the Carl Perkins and being kids to pay them for Jobs 253. Can we break down apprenticeship opportunities and guaranteed credit? Can we stop or keep going?
You have 1 minute and 27 seconds. Do you have, are there other ways? I'm going to ask you the question I asked the other panel. How does this room support you, and how would you like them to show up for you?
How does the room support us?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think Josh started with his opening remarks of just how remarkable it was entering this space this afternoon and seeing all of the familiar faces and partners that we have throughout the system, from our early learning partners, our before and after school partners, and our higher education partners. So continuing that partnership is critical. I speak for Franklin Pierce School Districts. We rely wholly on our ability to find partners to do the work. We don't have city governance that supports what we're doing. So the people in this room and your relationships with others are our city governance.
Thank you.
I would just add, we gotta talk about our kids as assets. Mm-hmm. And even the way that we talk about our community and our kids' results, they know, they can see it. And our kids are doing amazing things. Our kids have accomplished amazing standards in a very difficult time that none of us could have kept up with them. And so as you're out there talking to the community, because you're the ones that are helping produce these results, don't be afraid to celebrate a colleague, to say, you know what, in Pierce County, things are okay. Can they get better? Sure. Will they get better? Yes, but yes and. And celebrate those that are doing that work and help us by thanking them, because we can't thank them all. And I just want to say thank you, and go out and thank somebody else that's doing work on behalf of kids.
Absolutely. Thank you.